Right now, Orlando. Not the group that I work with bet it, but another group did. I could confirm it's definitely sharp because they took the 12.5, they took the 12, and they took the 11.5. Then they went under 201, 200.5, and 200. They backed off, but somebody else had to have loved that under because it got hit again. If you look at the odds logic screen, you'll see it got hit at 199.5, 199. And then they got so sick of half-point movements, they moved it a whole point to 198, and it still got bet under. That's why you're looking at 196.5 right now in that NBA game. The public's pretty split. They're a little heavier on the over. So what I can tell you is 100% confirmation that under money, just like the Magic, is sharp. Doesn't mean it's going to win, but it's definitely the sharper side. I just think a lot of the value has been extracted. Like if you like the under, I just don't think it's a great bet right now, even if the ticket cashes, just because it's just too big of a move. We're seeing that in all these NBA games with the total. Miami, Cleveland from 215, that same group that loves the unders. They bet 215 under, 214.5, and 214. They backed off. The Steam Chasers got it down now to 212.5. And then the same thing with Golden State. These guys, they laid Houston. They're the guys that are betting NBA. Again, the guys I'm doing haven't done NBA yet today, cider total, but they had the over yesterday in Milwaukee. So luckily that helped offset the Milwaukee loss a little bit. But that group bet Houston at -2.5, bet Houston at -3. But then another guy I trade with sent me Golden State +4. So it shows you just how tight these playoff lines are. And that's what you would expect this late in the season. Yeah. So obviously, Plus EV group saw some value at -2.5, saw some value at -3. But then at 4, some other groups said, wait, we like Golden State at +4. And that's why you're looking at pretty much, 3.5 and even some 3s painted across the board. So there's a difference of opinion there from the betting syndicates, but the public's all on the same side. 8 out of 10 tickets, I can tell you. And more importantly, close to 90% of the dollars bet so far, and that's actually the late game, are on the Houston Rockets. That's already the heaviest bet game out of all 3. And usually that's not the case. Usually it would be one of the 7:30 games that would have the bulk of the volume. And then depending on how those games are doing, you would see a bunch of money coming in on that late game. That's not the case. The late game actually has almost 2x the amount of volume that the earlier games have already. So it kind of tells me when the dust settles, that game will determine the bookmaker's night tonight. Like if Houston gets the money, it's not going to turn out well for the books. Where Golden State is able to not just cover, but maybe win on the money line, I think they're going to wipe out a lot of risk on money line parlays, right, a lot of teaser risk, and a lot of the point spread risk that they're going to have on the Rockets. So I think Warriors is that side that the books are hoping for the most tonight in the NBA. And like I said, the betting syndicates just keep betting these totals under as soon as the line opens. So if you like unders in NBA playoffs, I would not wait, where usually that's not the approach. We say the bias of bettors is to go favored and over. So the more you wait, the higher probability that the line's going to go up. But when the betting syndicates are getting involved, and I said at the start of the playoffs, they bet 90% is going to be totals and player props. Only 10% is going to be sides. They're going to get down early because they know other groups are looking for the same stuff. So if you like an under, I would not wait in the NBA playoffs. As soon as that next game's announced and you do your handicapping, fire. More times than not, you'll get a good number at least.
Hey, we've got a 3-pack going tonight. Where's the money being put?
All on Colorado. Everything is tied into Colorado tonight. And you're seeing the line move towards Colorado, but I can tell you, I work with a hockey group myself, and other guys I share with work with like hockey is their sport. And so far, none of them had told me any of that steam on Colorado. And yet the line's moved up, which tells me they're getting such one-sided Colorado money that they're enticing sharp bettors to come in and take Dallas. Because obviously, if you're a bookmaker and you're seeing one-sided Colorado, and then Colorado tied in the parlays, in NHL, Colorado tied in the baseball parlays, Colorado tied in the NBA parlays. You want some of that risk to be eliminated. The only way to do that is to entice sharp bettors to come in and take the dog, because I don't think they're going to entice the recreational bettors to take Dallas, no matter how high they move this number on Colorado. But I think if you could get to like plus 170, 175, I think you're going to see some sharp money come in on the Dallas side. But as long as that line keeps climbing, I haven't seen anyone take a bite of it yet, Prez. As far as the totals go, pretty good two-way action, like good balance. The only thing that sticks out just a little bit is the Edmonton LA game being bet over, and the line reflects that. Like, you could have got 5.5. I don't think that was on there very long. That's why that one's now 6 across the board, because that one's getting bet over. But the risk, like I said, it's all going to come down, just like the Houston Rockets are going to determine the night in NBA. Colorado is going to determine how the night goes for the books against Dallas. They're going to need Dallas to come in there and get the W. And, not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, we'll go to NBA real quick. Dylan Brooks over 1.5 made threes. It's juicy. I don't care. He's flying over this total, over 9 straight games. In his last 10 games, he's attempting 6.1 3-point attempts. So we love that number. And he's making 2.5, shooting 44.2%. That's a good enough sample size for me. And he's gone over in 3 straight games against Golden State. So Dylan Brooks, I'm not too worried about the juice. You can lay the juice on that one. Cricket, this is in the IPL. We fade bad teams, and we really fade bad teams when they're on the road. Now, the key to this one is both teams, Prez, have the name Royal in their name. Make sure you're playing the right team. It's the Royal Challengers. Wow. They're the favorite, okay? Basically, the team that they're playing, they're absolutely terrible. They're one of the worst sides. They're going to struggle with the bowling that the Challengers have. I don't want to get too much into it because I know cricket breakdowns are not very exciting. Royal Challengers, they're the favorite. Take the juice. This should be closer to minus 200. And then UFC, Prez, you ready for this one? We're got a parlay. Okay. We're going to take Matt Schnell money line over Jimmy Flick. Jimmy Flick is not a good fighter. He can't punch. His only thing that he can do is submissions. And in 2020, he took a big break from UFC, and then he came back, and it was like, well, why did he come back? Well, his wife left him. He tried a new career. It didn't work out. So he came back. He's 1-3 since then. He also lost a professional grappling match, and he's fighting Matt Schnell. Now, Matt Schnell's chin is completely gone. You punch him, he gets knocked out. The problem is Jimmy Flick has absolutely no power. This is going to be Matt Schnell who's going to beat Jimmy Flick. It's going to be a pretty embarrassing look for Jimmy Flick once again. And then Zhang Mingyang, we're going to take him to win by KO over Anthony Smith. Now, Prez, you know a lot of our theories in UFC, okay? So Anthony Smith, take a wild guess. What theory do you think this fits in? Why are we fading Anthony Smith? What's going on with Anthony Smith in his life?
His wife had a baby.
Close. He announced this is his retirement fight. This is last fight ever. You just always fade these UFC guys when they pre-announce that this is their fight. Zhang Mingyang, he always gets finishes in the first round. He's a monster. Anthony Smith is old. It's a great career. He's going to move on to do announcing, and he's going to be great at it. But for the purpose of this fight, he's gonna get knocked out. So we're gonna parlay Zhang Mingyang by KO, and we're gonna parlay Matt Schnell on the money line, and that gets us to minus 104. There's a nice little UFC parlay for everybody.
But I'm gonna look at Peyton Pritchard. Obviously, he doesn't play the same position, but what I will point out is Tatum averages 10 plus 3-point attempts per game. That's a lot of 3-point shots that aren't going to be there for Tatum. They're going to have to be spread around to somebody else. Who else would you want taking 3-point shots other than Peyton Pritchard, who's a career 40+% 3-point shooter, probably the best shooter on the team. He's averaging 40.7 3-point percentage for the season. Since the All-Star break, the guy's logging 29 minutes per game, 15 points, 3.8 rebounds, 3.4 assists. What was he, 4 of 5 in game 1 from beyond the arc? Like I said, with Tatum out, they need to replace that scoring. They need other guys to be taking those long distance shots. I'm going to go Peyton Pritchard over 2.5 made threes. It's juiced to minus 130, but I think he's going to play a big role in tonight's game in the absence of Jason Tatum. Anyways, Davion Mitchell for the Heat, former Sacramento King, former Toronto Raptors point guard. The guy is playing lights out right now. His PRA sits at 20.5. Donovan Mitchell. Yeah, what's wrong with me? It's getting late over here. Anyways, he's gone over this number in 11 of his last 14 games, 49 points in his last 3 games. Those are all play-in games and game 1 of this series. 12 plus points in 9 of his last 10 games. He's averaged 32 minutes in his last 7 games of the regular season, that is. And he's shooting 51.4% from the field and 46.4% from beyond the arc in 27 games since the All-Star break. So this guy's just consistently putting up the numbers, but because it's Davion Mitchell and not Donovan Mitchell, nobody's noticing except for guys like me and Andy. So there's still money to be made. The number hasn't got bumped up as high as it should. Davion Mitchell over 20.5 points is better than any prop you're going to get on Donovan Mitchell tonight.
Let's look at the Boston game now. It was 11.5, 12. We're now 10.5. The under is really shot down. We were as high as 200. Now we're 196.5. Obviously, Tatum is going to play into that. But even the pace in the first game has played to the under. But when we get to that Houston-Cleveland game, we took a huge 5-figure bet on Miami money line at plus $5. So it's normally one of those where we're rooting for one of the big favorites to lose outright to kill all parlays. Tonight, we really need Cleveland to come through. Now, hopefully Boston can lose and we can, take care of those parlays on the other side. But we are not looking for Miami to win that game outright. It would not be a good result for us. And there's a little bit of money on Miami with the points. I think people feel the quote-unquote heat culture, maybe in a bounce-back spot, things of that nature. Houston is interesting. Houston at 3.5 feels high because game 1 was basically 1.5. But the sharper guys have laid Houston early. Public is going to take the Warriors on the money line because they're going to see a juicy plus 150, 155 on the Warriors money line and look to take a shot there with Houston. I'm sorry, with Golden State on the money line. Houston spread bets are all sharp, and that's early stuff, though. Listen, we saw early Colorado money, off our opening number, but once you get pushed to $1.90, $1.95, almost $2, that takes any value out of it. Even if there was any value at 170 or 175, maybe not. But that is a series that's probably out of the 3 games that's seen the least action kind of this morning and moving forward. You've seen a lot of public money on the Oilers. There's no shock there. Plus money on the Oilers. People feel good about their comeback. They felt good about the Oilers in game 1. And I told you 2 weeks ago that the Oilers, or right before the series had started, that the Oilers were very public on the series price because the Oilers are public. That's just what it is. Canadians saw pretty good sharp money overnight. Plus 170, plus 165. So you've seen the Capitals, line move down. We're now dealing minus 175 on Washington. So that's been a big move there. We have seen no money come in on the Capitals on the other side.